Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be just going ahead and discussing one of the most important poems of class 12 English CBSE board. That is My Mother at 66. This is one of the most important poems, as I said, and also it is very crucial and important from the CBSE's perspective. Before we get into the poem, let us quickly look about the poet. The Kamladas 1934 was the year she was born in the city of Malabar in Kerala, the southernmost state in India. She is recognized as one of the India's foremost poets. Her works are known for their originality, versatility, and the indigenous flavor of the soul. Kamladas has published many of novels and short stories in English and Malayalam language also under the name Madhavikutty. Some of her works in English include the novel Alphabet of Lust, that was published in 1977, and a collection of short stories, Padmawati, The Harlot, and Other Stories, 1992, the year in which this was published. In addition to 5 books of poetry, she is also a sensitive writer who captures the complex subtleties of human relationships in lyrical idiom. My Mother at 66 is an example of this as well. So, as I said, My Mother at 66 is a poem written by Indian writer Kamla Das. Her poems are mostly about subtleties involved in human relationships. So when we say subtleties, not very noticeable or difficult to perceive or understand. And also, she magnifies the most unnoticed simple events that occur in a certain relationships through beautiful imagery and strong descriptions. Uh, and also, it talks about a daughter bidding goodbye to her mother. The mother has grown old, and the daughter finds it painful to leave her aging mother behind. She knows that she might not see her mother again. All right, now let's get started with the poem here. We all know aging is a natural process, and we all must go through this process in one way or the other in our life. And that is what exactly the Kamla Das, the author of this poem or the writer of this poem, is trying to describe in detail the beautiful bonding or the relationship between her mother and herself, the daughter here. Now let's go through the lines here. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday, I saw my mother beside me, those open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. What we all need to understand here, very first thing, is that the poet was driving from her parents' home to the Cochin airport last Friday morning. Her mother was sitting beside her driving seat as they were driving towards the airport. As he was bidding her mother goodbye, she was 66 years old. The old lady, the mother, was dozing slightly in sleepy mode, and then her mouth was remained open. Her face was slightly pale and faded, having as if no energy. It was looking like gray in color, like that of ash. It looked lifeless, like a corpse, dead body. Therefore, she compares to a dead body. To a dead body means corpse here, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. The lifeless and faded face of her mother pained her heart. The old lady seemed to be lost in her own thoughts somewhere. The poet turned her. The poet turned away her attention from her mother and looked outside through her driving seat, and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. The world outside was full of life and activity. The young trees seemed running fast. The children looked happy, and they were playing merrily while moving out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, standing, okay. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her when pale as a late winter's moon and felt that of old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. When they were at the airport, they had to undergo a security check. As always, we all know we need to go through the security check at the airport. The poet was standing a few yards away from her mother. She looked again at her old mother, standing in a few distance away. She felt pain to look at the colorless, lifeless, and pale face of her mother. Her face looked faded, like that of a late winter's moon, which had lost its sign and strength. We all know moon in the winter uh, looks hazy and no bright and beautiful. This aroused the old familiar ache in the poet's heart. The old familiar ache of the poet Kamla was the separation from her mother. And that is what exactly here she says, my childhood's fear. Her childhood fear overpowered her again. However, she controlled herself. She controlled herself. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. And all I did was smile and smile and smile. However, she controlled with all her determination. She appeared to be normal then. She scattered smiles on her face while saying goodbye to her mother. Therefore, she says here, all I said was, see you soon, Amma, to assure her that she would be meeting her again very soon. She scattered, as I said, smiles on her face while saying goodbye to her mother. She wished to see her old Amma again. Therefore, she says in the last line, all I did was smile and smile and smile. Why did she do so? Why did she do so? She did so because she wanted to assure her mother that she would be meeting her again very soon. And that's why she says, all I said was, see you soon, Amma. All right, now let's have a look at some of the frequently asked questions. So, first question is, what is the irony in the poem My Mother at 66? The irony in the poem My Mother at 66 is that the poet knows that her mother has grown old, though she finds it very hard to accept it. That means the poet or the poetess, the Kamla Das, knows the fact that her mother has grown old. However, she finds it very difficult to accept that reality. Next questions. What are the poetic devices used in the poem My Mother at 66? Similes have been used that are used to compare the mother's face to that of a corpse and a late winter's moon. Imagery is used to show live activity in young trees sprinting. Sprinting means running fast, and married children spilling. Spilling means moving or overflowing. Also, young trees is personified in the poem here that we already discussed in the poem. Repetition and alliteration can be seen in the use of the word simile. I'm sorry, in the word smile in the last line of the poem. Three words are being repeated in the last line of that poem, and that is called repetitions. At the same time, alliteration as well. Consonant sounds are being repeated here. So, why is the mother's face compared to a late winter's moon? The mother's face has been compared to a late winter's moon to illustrate her old age, just like a later winter's moon that is dim because of the fog. At the same time, it's hazy, not so clear. The poet's mother's face has lost the glow of a young and lively person. It is used to show the effect of age on her, the loss of energy, youth, and beauty at the same time. So these were the frequently asked questions from this chapter. So I will also be coming up with this complete summary of this chapter in the next video. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe it for more. Thank you.